Santiago. For over 4 decades, Mr. John Santiago has quietly championed the power of education, serving students, mentoring future engineers, and uplifting communities. With experience spanning military service, engineering practice, and university leadership, he's earned respect not by seeking limelight, but a steadfast dedication to helping others grow. He has received recognition from the institution like the U.S. Air Force Academy, Colorado Technical University, as well as the global honors of education forums. Testament to a focus on a service over accolades. Most recently, in 2025, the IEEE, which stands for Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, named him one of the 100 global STEM champions, an honor introduced in 2021 to recognize outstanding volunteers supporting pre-university STEM education worldwide. He is also proudly married to his wife, Emily, for 43 years. A spiritual companion who has been his unwavering support throughout his journey of service and leadership. Please join me in welcoming a leader whose quiet example shows us all true leadership is in showing up, lifting others, and building brighter futures. Retired Colonel John Santiago.
I have a lot of senior moments.
Testing. Works. Good evening, everyone, and it's so good to see everyone here tonight. A lot of beautiful people and a beautiful event. Next time, I'll moonwalk my way up here. But trust me, you don't want to see that again. As you know, Emily, my wife, is the better dancer. She actually moves with rhythm. I move with gravity, tipping me up. Looking at you all, I can already feel the energy in this room, and maybe a little bit of CHISMIS. And there. Seeing friendly faces reminds me climbing, or more accurately crawling, up the Manitou Incline with my army kababayans. And they know who they are. And let me tell you, I was set up being the only Air Force guy. And no, they are not going to convince me again to do that crawl. Because if I did, they'll be waiting 2 hours at the top, standing, smiling, and tapping their watches, saying, Talaga, sir? Followed by, Grabe, God, sir. Next time, I'll just fly and then gently float down my parachute with my parachute because I'm not sharing. Otherwise, I'll just roll down to the bottom of the winding trail, practice my moonwalking when making my way back to the car, and then I'll be standing, smiling, and tapping my watch when the kababayans finally arrive. Kidding aside, actually, the Army kababayans did not leave a fellow veteran behind. What lifts us higher isn't Air Force flying and the Army floating down alone. It's the friendship, unity, and the bayanihan spirit we all share here. And that's the spirit I want to talk about today. Before I say thank you, imagine for a moment the Filipino-American community of Southern Colorado did not exist, no pageants, no parades, no potlucks, no place to pass on language or legacy. I think about that when parents help their little girl adjust her tiara, crown, or sash. A well-respected lolo reminds a child to say po and o. When friends gather around sharing the unforgettable aromas of warm trays of adobo and other Filipino favorites. These aren't just small moments. They are sacred rituals of leadership in motion. That is friendship made visible, unity passed on, you can taste. And thank God this community does exist, because no potlucks mean no baon, which means some of us might have to magluto from scratch. And that's not just safe, especially when my cooking is still, let's just say, a work in progress. Now thank you for the warm introduction, Maddie. And thank you, all of you, for letting me be part of this coronation. I'm just grateful to be standing here with all of you tonight. Any recognition I've received is again a sign of the bayanihan spirit we share. As mentioned earlier, I'm John Santiago, retired military, amateur comedian, mostly engineer, so I don't expect any punchlines to work. But let's give it a shot. And if my Air Force humor is already shot, then I will just simply won't plan well. I'm also a longtime member and volunteer of IEEE, the largest community of engineers and technologists, about 500,000 members worldwide. For those unfamiliar, IEEE stands for the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. But what matters most to me is using those skills to give back to the community, just like all of you. While IEEE advances technology for humanity, I see the Filipino-American community of Southern Colorado as advancing culture, identity, and opportunity. Cultural spaces like this aren't luxuries. They're a must, like oxygen. Here's why. During the COVID lockdown, a 2022 study from the Urban Institute found 1 in 4 Asian American youth have been told they don't belong here. But when they have a cultural home, like this community, they feel rooted, seen, and proud. Since 1993, founded by Mr. Ron Nono, fellow veteran and leader, one of the Army kababayans, don't deny it, this community has been built several annual pageants like Miss Philam and cultural celebrations. 4 civic partnerships offered relief during typhoon disasters, provided hundreds of scholarships to local high school seniors. And congratulations to all the young people here tonight. Your active involvement will continue to create lasting community memories through traditions like Flores de Mayo, Independence Day, and holiday gatherings. And don't forget the opportunities to march with fellow brothers and sisters in arms during Veterans Day, where we didn't just see uniforms and flags, but veterans, families, and the community walking together in step, honoring those who serve and inspiring those yet to serve. That's unity in motion and legacy being lived out. Most important, like this evening, this community mentored youth, performing folk dances from Pueblo to the Air Force Academy, encouraging them to attend national leadership summits. Finally, you sparked something powerful, upward mobility. Pew Research shows Filipino Americans with strong community ties are 3 times more likely to pursue higher education. That's not just tradition, that's transformation. I can imagine many students saying this community gave me the confidence to apply for CU Boulder, UCCS, or others to pursue my dream career. And it all starts with values. First comes friendship, a foundational block in John Wooden's pyramid of success. My leadership compass and the most valuable leadership framework since graduating from UCLA. Wooden, a former civil engineering student, a Navy veteran from World War II, and later both a Hall of Fame college basketball player and coach, taught me that friendship isn't about popularity. It's about mutual respect, genuine care, and loyalty. Several years later, after completing a 9-month leadership program at the Air Command and Staff College, I wrote to him, thanking him, and sharing him how I used the pyramid as a leadership tool in the Air Force. To my surprise, he wrote back on his 84th birthday, thanking me. In the letter dated October 14, 1994, it reads, "There is no greater joy than knowing something you said or done has helped another, especially when there was no thought of return. Thank you, exclamation point. Sincerely, John Wooden." That's not just basketball. That's bayanihan, lifting others with no expectation. And not long after, John Wooden shared more of that bayanihan, that same spirit of we supersedes me with the world through his leadership books, carrying that message to millions. That's the power of mentorships that I see here today. We lift each other, building leaders that last. I even laminated his letter and it still hangs on my wall today, reminding me that when you lift others, you build leaders that matter. So here's what I've learned. Success isn't about what you know. It's about who you lift. In fact, it's really this simple. Mindset, skill set times mindset equals success. Skill set, the high-tech skills we build as engineers, leaders, and creators. Mindset, the high-touch humanity we bring through care, respect, and loyalty. And when you multiply them, high-tech times high-touch, you get higher purpose. That's what success isn't just from our eyes. It's success from the maker's eyes. Otherwise, it's empty when technology is without humanity. We see friendship developing leaders when a tita making lumpia while other titas guide youth rehearsing tanitling. A loving tito giving quiet and gentle pep talks backstage. A nervous student finding their voice during rehearsal. And don't underestimate the ripple effect. Filipino-American teens face higher stress and cultural conflict than other Asian youth. But when surrounded by supportive titas, titos, and peers, their cultural mindset improves, leading to pride in their heritage, clarity in their identity, and strength to navigate between American and Filipino cultures. That's what your friendship provides. A foundation of belonging with a higher purpose. Once the foundation is built, within the word community lies your next value, unity, the civic beam of light that holds and binds our country, this community, together. 13 colonies, one nation, that didn't happen by accident. Unity requires coordination across diverse backgrounds. That's what this community does. Bridging Ilocanos, Tagalogs, Visayans, first gens, second gens, veterans, and dreamers. This is cultural harmony by design. In engineering, we call it synchronization. In the military, we call it unity of effort. In the Filipino culture, you got it, we call it bayanihan. Unity and friendship come together. Community involves turn into a lasting legacy. From my technique view, friendship is the current, empowers the flow of trust, helping hands and smiles. Friendship builds trust. Without trust, nothing lasts. Unity is the bridge, the backbone of strength, direction, and stability, holding our diversity under one roof. Culture is the signal. It's what we send from one generation to the next. A language, a story, a recipe, or a dance. I know that sounds like engineering talk, but stick with me. It's just a fancy way of saying relationships do matter to keep things moving. Values hold us together, and traditions guide the way. We don't just keep traditions alive. We pass on empowerment, cultural pride, and lifelong purpose. But to keep things moving forward, you need more than an inspiration. You need a system. My experience with this community, I call that system, that infrastructure, the STEAM Team's engine. In the Filipino culture, we already had the perfect word, bayanihan. Back then, bayanihan meant literally lifting houses together with bamboo poles. Today, we have digital houses, which means lifting people with STEAM skills, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. STEAM Teams is bayanihan, where engineers, students, and community members working side by side to lift, shape, and move future generations forward. Different words, same spirit. And here's why I say STEAM Teams equals bayanihan, because that spirit shines every day here in the brilliance found in this community. Through the science behind cherished Filipino recipes, the technology of digital online invitations, the engineering of in-person and Teams meetings, the kind of planning that keeps events like Miss Philan running smoothly. Thank you, Nora Olafante and the pageant committee. Done a great job. The art, go ahead. The art of costumes, dances, and songs, and yes, math, behind budgeting scholarships and events. That's STEAM, helping others prepare the future generation to become leaders. And guess what? The National Federation of Filipino American Associations reports that STEAM programs can boost student interest in STEM by 30 to 50%. This community isn't just keeping up, you're leading the way. And that's why organizations and IEEE and communities like yours share more in common than you might think. So maybe, just maybe, organizations like IEEE can walk alongside communities like yours where bayanihan is already alive. Together we can amplify what's already working, lifting others, multiplying the ripple effect, and carrying the future forward. And teams, that simply stands for together, everyone accomplishes meaningful stuff. At one time or another, everyone here has been setting up chairs, fixing up microphones, designing flyers, coordinating logistics, mentoring youth, and handing out concept. That stuff, seeing everyone pitching in, is leadership. I say that because when I visited the Philippine Military Academy near Baguio City many, many years ago, I came across a quote that still resonates with me. And it goes something like this. Not everyone will become a president. Not everyone will become a general. But everyone can choose to lead. As Coach Wooden said, good values attract good people. And that's what I see here. That's what you built here, and a community where values come first and people follow. Just look around tonight, our pageant contestants, our young scholars to be announced of scholarship winners, our youth dancers, showing each discipline, creativity, and the bayanihan spirit. John Wooden also taught, make greatness attainable for all. That's exactly what you're doing with every scholarship, with every pageant, and with every plate of lumpia and pancit handed out with love. You're just not preserving culture. You're passing greatness forward. As a life senior member of IEEE, I spent several decades, yes, I'm that old, mentoring engineers, educators, and entrepreneurs, realizing how engineers build tools, culture gives tools meaning, and leadership puts it all into action. So I leave you with this. Be more than a guest, be a guide. Be more than a participant, be a pillar. Be more than a spectator, be a spark. That is, continue to be part of this team. Continue to show up, speak up, and step up. Because when you show up, future generations believe. When you care, they lead. In other words, when you lift others, you lift yourself closer to the maker upstairs. When you enhance others, you honor the maker upstairs. Friendship and unity are your foundation. This community, this exceptional community, is the steam engine, amplifying your culture's future with the high-tech skill set. Your team's mindset are the infrastructure, the hands, hearts, and minds that get things done. That is what John Wooden calls team spirit of we supersedes me, or even simpler, bayanihan. As a veteran, I'm proud to say Filipino Americans are among the largest Asian groups in the U.S. military. Over 250,000 have served. Many go on to excel in technology, engineering, and healthcare. Just like the students here today. You are building a pipeline of purpose, a legacy that serves, and a future that leads. In closing, and please pardon my American accent, maraming salamat po. Mabuhay ang Filipino-American community of Southern Colorado. Mabuhay kayong lahat. May God's light continue to guide this community, and may His hand continue to protect this great nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel John Santiago, we would like to present you in the front with our Vice President and President, Mrs. Maddie Vines, and Dr. Alex Africa.
It is my pleasure, on behalf of the Filipino American community of Southern Colorado, retired Colonel John Santiago, given with sincere appreciation for being our guest speaker at our Coronation Ball 2025. We are grateful for your willingness to share your knowledge and expertise that will surely make an impact to our guests. Especially the youth of our community, you are truly an inspiration, and we are grateful for your continued support and dedication to the Filipino-American community of Southern Colorado. Signed by Dr. Alexander, Africa President, our founder, Ron Nono, dated this August 23rd, 2025.
Thank you, Colonel John Santiago, for the